Hello guys and welcome back to Ollie's on the Ball today. It's my first AFL video in a long time, so today I'm going to be doing my AFL 2025 season predictions. So it's about that time of year where every single AFL content creator is coming out with their season predictions. So these will be mine. So I've got ladder predictions and then some awards at the end. So these are just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, we can comment it down below in the comments section. But I'm excited for footy to be back, and yeah, this should be interesting. So 18th place have got Richmond. Last year they also finished 18th. I reckon they'll have a record of 3-20. No key-ins from the trade period. They have lost a few players in Baker, Rioli, Bolton, Graham, I think, but they have got some good draft talent like Sam Lawler and Josh Smiley, I think it is. So they're going to be an exciting team to watch. They're probably not going to win that many games, but it's really a development year for Richmond, so that's why I reckon they'll finish 18th. Next in 17th place got the Western Bulldogs. Last year they finished 6th, losing the elimination final to Hawthorn. I reckon they'll finish 17th with a record of 4-19. Key and Matt Kennedy from Carlton. They have lost Bailey Smith to Geelong, but you never know what you're going to get with the Bulldogs. One year they're good, one year they're not, the next year they're good. I feel like, though, they're going to have a bit of a disappointing season this year and finish in 17th place. So next team we've got in 16th is West Coast Eagles. I reckon they'll finish in 16th with a record of 6-18. 2024 finish, they also finished 16th. Keens, Matt Owens from Carlton, Liam Baker and Jack Graham from Richmond. Like last year, they had a development year, and I think this will be another development year, but they've still got some really exciting young talent, and obviously Harley Reid's going to be an absolute superstar again. So I reckon they'll have a decent year, but finish in 16th. Next in 15th, we've got Melbourne. Bit of a disappointing year last year. Everyone predicted them to most likely make finals, but they finished 15th. I reckon they'll finish 15th though with a record of 6-18. Last year they finished 14th. Key-ins, Tom Campbell from St Kilda and Harry Sharp from Brisbane. So they've got a pretty solid list, but I reckon they might have a few injuries and not have a great season and finish 15th. Next in 14th spot we've got North Melbourne with a record of 7-16. 2024 they finished 17th. Wasn't a great year, but it was still an improvement on the year before. But they've got some really big ins. Jack Darling from West Coast, Caleb Daniel from Bulldogs, and Luke Parker and Jacob Constantine from Sydney. So they're building a nice list of experience, and then they've obviously got some more draft picks. So I reckon this will be a pretty good year, a bit of a rise up the ladder, and hopefully sign of things to come for North Melbourne this season. Next in 13th spot we have Sydney. Now, I know they did finish first last year and made a grand final, but I think after going down like that in a grand final, I think it's going to have some sort of effect on your team. I think they're going to have a pretty poor year this year, finishing 13th with a record of 8-15. They haven't really had any key-ins. They've lost the likes of Luke Parker, but I reckon they're going to have a pretty average year and finish in 13th. Next in 12th spot, we've got Essendon with a record of 9-14. Last year, they finished 11th. They had a great start, but then fell at the end and ended up finishing outside the 8. I feel like Essendon, they either finish bottom half of the 8 and lose the final, or they finish like 9-12. So I reckon this year going to be another average year for Essendon, finishing 12th. Next team in 11th, I have Adelaide. I reckon they'll finish 11th with a record of 10-13. 2024 they finished 15th, but they have got some key-ins with Alex Neil-Bullen from the Demons and Isaac Cumming and James Peatling from GWS. And they've got a pretty talented list if you look at it. And I reckon they'll have a pretty good start to the season, but maybe fade away at the end, just miss finals, finish 11th. Then next in 10th got GWS, record of 11-12. 2024 they finished 4th and their key in is Jake Stringer. They have lost a couple of players, Harry Perryman, Isaac Cumming, James Peatling, so a few key players gone, but I reckon after going out in straight sets, they're going to have not a great season and finish 10th. Now for the team in 9th is Fremantle. Record 12-11, I reckon, is what they finish up with. 2024 finished 10th. Keane's Shy Bolton. Now, last year they were going so well and looks like they were going to at least make finals, even top 4. But they choked a bit at the end, lost in the last round, missed finals, and everyone's saying that they're going to have a good season this year. Flagman, a lot of hype around them. But I reckon they'll have an average year but just miss out on finals and finish 9th. Next in 8th spot, for the first time in their history, I reckon Gold Coast are making finals with a record of 12-11. Last year they finished 13th, but it was a year of improvement. New captain Noah Anderson. Feel like they've got a pretty good list on paper with some keys like Dan Rioli, Elliot Himmelberg and John Noble. I reckon they will make finals this year. Next in 7th is St Kilda with a record of 13-10. Last year they finished 12. Now, it's pretty rare that I actually have a bit of St Kilda biasness on these videos. Usually I say they do horrible and they do decent, but I reckon this year we are making finals. Keane, Jack McRae. I know we have got a pretty bad injury list, but it's only for the first couple of rounds. We've got some young talent like Darcy Wilson and Travaglia and Taru in the draft, so I reckon we will put it together and have a pretty decent season and finish 7th. Next in 6th, I've got Carlton. Last year they finished 8th. With their key in is Nick Haynes from GWS. I reckon they'll win 15 games this season. They've got a pretty decent list on paper. They have got a few injuries though, with Jagger Smith, the draftee, unfortunately going down with an ACL injury after pre-season. But I reckon they're still going to have a decent year and they'll finish 6th. In 5th, we've got Geelong with a record of 15-8. 2024 they finished 3rd. Now, Geelong, well, they're always good. No matter what the circumstances are, they always seem to play well and always seem to make the finals, no matter their list or players or coach or whatever. So Keane, Bailey Smith, I reckon he'll help them. I reckon they'll finish 5th. Not a great season by Geelong standards, but still a pretty good season. Then in 4th, well, all the excitements around them after their second half of last season is Hawthorn. Everyone thinks they'll be top 4. I think they will. I think they'll slide into 4th with a record of 16-7. 2024 they finished 7th, but that doesn't really reflect their season. They would have finished top 4 if it wasn't for their first 5 games. Keane, Tom Barras and Josh Battle really strengthen up the defence with James Sisley also in their defence, so I reckon they'll have a good season and finish 4th. In 3rd place got Collingwood with a record of 16-7. 2024's they finished 9th, which was pretty disappointing after being the reigning premiers at the start of last season. A lot of people saying that they were going to win premiership, go back to back. Wasn't quite that way, but I reckon they'll have a pretty good season this season. Keane's, Harry Perryman from GWS and a big in Dan Houston from Port Adelaide will really help them make top 4 this season. And then, so we've got top 2 now. I reckon 2nd Brisbane, as in they had a really good season last year. Probably Lions have just been the best team over really the last 5 or 6 years. It wasn't outstanding, but their finals run was excellent. Beating Carlton, then beating GWS, then beating Geelong, and then finally Sydney. and the way they won that grand final. So they haven't really got any key ins, but I think their list is pretty good. Joe Danaher has retired, which will hurt them a bit, but they've got players that can step up, and I reckon they'll still have a very good season and finish second. Then finally, on top of the ladder, I reckon Port Adelaide, with a record of 18-5. Last year they finished second, and people were a bit disappointed with their finals run after losing in the qualifying final, then just beating Port Adelaide, then losing to Sydney quite comfortably. But they always seem to be good. If you look at their midfield, it is actually overpowered. I know they've lost Dan Houston, but they've got Jack Lukosius, Rory Atkins really strengthened their team, Joe Richards, but they've also got like Rosie, Butters, Georgiades, Horn Francis, Wines, Folk. It's a pretty good team on paper, so I reckon they're going to finish first. And then finally to the awards, I reckon Brownlow medalist Zach Butters with 33 votes. I reckon Port will have a great season. He's really shown some improvement over the last couple of seasons. I think he's going to be right up there again and probably win the Brownlow. Coleman medalist Ben King, 72 goals. He's always been that type of player that feels like he's due a breakout season. He's always been around, had a couple of good games, had some injuries, but I reckon this will be his year and the Suns' year, and he'll win the Coleman. Then rising star Isaac Kako. I said this before the pre-season game where he kicked 4 goals with an assist that Sam Draper just kicked him, but it was touched. But I think after that pre-season game, he's probably the rising star favourite right now. Brings some excitement to the Essendon forward line. And after losing Jake Stringer will be a good addition to their forward line. And then finally, Premiers, I reckon Port Adelaide, it's their time. They've always been up there the last couple of seasons, just haven't managed to put it together in finals. But if you look at their list, it's obvious that they can win a premiership, so Port Adelaide will win. Thanks for watching Ollie's on the Ball. I hope you're looking forward to the AFL season as much as I am. But thanks for watching and see you next time.